नामदहु नुसल्ली अला रसूलिल करीम. Dear students, today's, that is 12th lecture which is going on. It's very interesting lecture. It's regarding the Constitution. You must know it. What do you mean by the Constitution? Why it was promulgated? ये एक लफ्ज़ keep it in your mind. When the word come, how to live, यानी ज़िंदगी को कैसे गुजारना है, ज़िंदगी को अच्छे तरीके से निभाने के लिए, बनाने के लिए, रहने के लिए एक मुसव्वदा बनाया जाता है, एक आइन बनाया जाता है, एक तरीक़ाकार बनाया जाता है. That's what you call Constitution. Now I'm giving you little background regarding the Islamic point of view about the Constitution. यानी Constitution के बारे में Islamic point of view क्या था? Now, just listen carefully. The first Muslim Constitution was promulgated by the Holy Prophet ﷺ of Islam when he migrated to Medina from Mecca, and the function was laid by the government of the city of state. यानी हजूर पाक जब माइग्रेट करके मक्का से मदीना पहुँचे तो उन्होंने ये पहला आइन का हिस्सा यानी तरीक़ाकार है, ज़िंदगी कैसे गुजारना है, वो लेड डाउन किया. What was that? The Constitution was framed and put into effect with the full consensus of not only the followers of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, but also had the concurrence of the Jews and other. The meaning of this thing is that this constitution was not meant only for Muslims. It was meant for other nations. जिसमें Jew भी शामिल थे, could be other religion as well. So it was promulgated throughout for all the inhabitants, जो लोग वहाँ रहने वाले थे. The characteristics of Muslim administration had been said that the people, including the ruler, were subject to Sharia, and it was enforced with greater force of equity. इन सब के सब बराबरी के सलूक के मुताबिक ये आइन बनाया गया. Regarding justice and good consensus, this is in the case of those who did not embrace the faith of Islam. Such notions as the king can do the case, यानी इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर वो बादशाह भी हो, किंग भी हो, तो he can't avoid constitution. वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंदर ही काम करेगा. It is why it is said so. According to the Islamic jurisprudence, even the first right guided caliphs in Khulafa had greater respect for the law, would humbly appear before the Qazi of ever such an occasion as Muslims and jurists believe in the supremacy of the law laid down by the Holy Quran and interpreted by Sunnah and hold it internal and immutable. The law was therefore actually sovereign in Muslim land. Sovereignty says the Holy Quran belonged to Almighty Allah and authority to the by the trust and behalf of Allah, and it must be exercised with the Muslim prescribed by him. अब आते हैं, these are all simple introductions which I am trying to elaborate it. अब हम आते हैं जी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल हिस्ट्री ऑफ पाकिस्तान, जो आज का टॉपिक है हमारा एक्चुअली। ये आइन की तारीख क्या है, आइन कब से शुरू हुआ, कैसे शुरू हुआ, व्हाट वाज ऑल अबाउट इट। अब इसकी जरा गहराई में जाएं। मिंटो मॉर्ले reform that was 1909. The Act of 1909 enlarged the size of the Legislative Council. It was provoked that the Imperial Legislative Council shall consist of 36 officials. आगे आ जाते हैं जी। It was decided that there would be no official majority in the provincial legislative council, but such monarchy was considered excelled in the central legislature. अब आते हैं जी, we are running towards Minto-Morley reforms. Minto-Morley reforms की क्या कैफियत थी? अच्छा जी, ये रिफॉर्म्स बन गई मुख्तलिफ आरा में। The function of the Legislative Council was increased. तो बात यह है कि डिफरेंट किस्म की ये जो बात आपको बता रहा हूँ यानी पाकिस्तान का आइन भी बनाया गया, लेकिन वो इन पीछे हालात को मद्देनज़र देखते हुए भी, यानी पहले जो विच आई गिव यू द एग्जांपल ऑफ हज़रत मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, उन्होंने बनाया अकॉर्डिंग टू कुरान एंड सुन्ना, कुरान और सुन्नत के मुताबिक बनाया कि कुरान में क्या क्या चीज़ें हैं जिनकी ममानत की गई। कलाम पाक में there are many things which are prohibited for the Muslims. They are not supposed to do that act. If it goes, if anybody is doing it will go towards the sin, which he will be penalized on the day of judgment. So that was the fear of every person. wrongdoer must be penalized. जो गलत काम करने वाले हैं या इस्लामिक तरीके से जो काम नहीं करेंगे उनको पेनलाइज किया जाए। इसके साथ ही मैं सिंपली बात को चलाने के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बात करता हूँ कि there were around 3 kinds of the constitution. ये मैं I'm talking about the Pakistan. ये पाकिस्तान में 3 किस्म के आइन जो है वो बनाए गए। The first constitution, which I will give you the detail later, that was promulgated in 1956. In 1956 में वो जनाब headed by सिकंदर मिर्ज़ा, पर मिंटो मार्ले जो रिफॉर्म्स हैं दी अच्छा जी। अब आइए लेट्स सी अराउंड 3 कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन तो मैंने जिक्र तो कर दिया। So the system of the parliamentary form of government was adopted both the center and the province. There was distribution of powers between center and province. यानी सेंटर को पावर भी दी गई, लेकिन देने वाले कौन थे? प्रोविंस को सेंटर देता है। The Constitution provided for Pakistan, wherein equality between east and west wings had been maintained. Number next आ जाता है। For the distribution of the subject between the center and province, the list of the subject had been drawn up. Next, there was special procedure to be adopted for the amendment of the Constitution, yet it was least rigid Constitution. It was a bit flexible. Then next, it had provided for 2 national league, league में languages, 2 ज़ुबानों में था। Urdu was the first language for West Pakistan and Bengal for the East Pakistan. पाकिस्तान के जो दोनों हिस्से थे ईस्ट एंड वेस्ट, उनके लिए उर्दू it was a compulsory or imperative for these 2 parts of Pakistan. Instead of double citizenship, one citizenship system was provided for the Federation of Pakistan. The Constitution was silent as to be method of conducting election both for the central and the provincial legislature. Number next. Finally, there were the Islamic character of the Constitution. अब हेडिंग आ जाता है जी, विच इज़ आई just narrated already, which I have given you the glimpse of it, that is Islamic provision of the 1956 Constitution. जो 1956 का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन था उसमें क्या था, उनमें क्या क्या बातें थी. द नेम ऑफ द कंट्री, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा हुआ है, द नेम ऑफ द कंट्री विल बी इस्लामिक रिपब्लिक ऑफ पाकिस्तान, राइट. The preamble of the Constitution embodied the sovereignty of God Almighty. हाकमियत अल्लाह ताला की है. The head of the state shall be a Muslim. That is most important thing is that कि पाकिस्तान का जो सरबराह होगा वो मुस्लिम होगा. Islamic Advisory Council shall be set up, right? Number next, no law determined to Islam shall be enacted. यानी इस्लाम के अलावा कोई किसी किस्म का कोई आइन चीज ये नहीं बनाई. अच्छा, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो है ना, अभी आपको आई जस्ट दैट गिवन यू दी ग्लिम्स, एक झलक सी आपको मैंने दी है 56 कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन क्या है, व्हाट इज़ ऑल अबाउट इट, इट्स डेफिनेशन क्या है, क्यों इट वाज बनाया गया, एंड द मीनिंग ऑफ इट क्या है. अब वी आर रनिंग टुवर्ड्स द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ 1962. Title of the state will be Islamic Republic of Pakistan. The same. पाकिस्तान का नाम जो है वो इस्लामिक रिपब्लिक ऑफ पाकिस्तान है. A powerful president who was responsible for the administration and affairs of the state. यानी सदर जो है, he will be responsible for everything. He should be a Muslim, no less than 40 years of age. हाँ, इसमें एक और बात भी उसमें दे दी है कि एज की भी, कि उम्र उसकी जो है ना नॉट लेस दैन 40 years हो और वो मुसलमान हो. That is the condition for the president. The Governor General could issue the ordinance for the period of 6 months, which had the same force and effect of an act of the central legislature. The central budget was presented before the central legislature. अब आ जाते हैं जी regarding this Act of 1935. The acceptance of an All India Federation, the introduction of partial responsibility in the form of hierarchy at the center, the grant of autonomy to the province, safeguards, reservation, special responsibilities, overriding power, extra in the hands of government and Governor General. Creation of Federal Court, Federation Railway Authority, the Reserve Bank of India, Public Service Commission. ये 1965 के इनके मुताबिक ये चीज़ें कही गई। अब आ जाते हैं जी बेसिक पर्पस। ये इस एक्ट का बुनियादी तौर पे मकसद क्या था? देयर वर थ्री बेसिक पर्पस ऑफ द एक्ट: एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ फेडरेशन, provincial autonomy with the parliamentary government, and the last one is the separation of Burma from India. Now we go through provisions of it. Provincial autonomy, All India Federation, diarchy at the center, safeguard, rigid constitution. Again, we had a glance on the Constitution of 1956. This Constitution of Pakistan was Federal Republic based on Islam, which I already mentioned you. A detail of the list and functions, rights, independence, judiciary was provided in the Constitution. कहते हैं कि इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जो जुडिशरी है, जो अदालती निज़ाम है, इट शुड बी इंडिपेंडेंट. देयर इज नो इंटरफेरेंस of the government, of the people, or anybody. It is free from all aspects. अच्छा जी, आगे आ जाते हैं जी इस्लामिक प्रोविजन ऑफ द 1956 Constitution. The name of the country will be Islamic Republic of Pakistan. The preamble of the Constitution embodied the sovereignty of God Almighty. The head of the state shall be of Muslim. These are all I have told you already. Then next comes Islamic Advisory Council shall be set up. And the last one will be no law determined to Islam shall be enacted. Islam के अलावा कोई और चीज़ नाफिजुल अमल नहीं होगी. Now we see the Constitution of 1962. Title of the state will be Islamic Republic of Pakistan. A powerful president who was responsible for the administration, affairs of the state. He should be a Muslim, no less than 40 years of age, shall be capable to be a member of National Assembly. He was elected through not direct election. वो लोग उसे इलेक्ट करते थे, वो डाल कर खुद नहीं बनता. If he had held office, he could look for the re-election for the support of National Assembly and MP as member of Parliament. National Assembly given the power to charge the President. However, it was difficult to achieve number next. President was the central point of all the executive. ये जितनी भी executive या जो body होती थी, he was the chief of it. You could call him as the chief executive of the country. It means he is the president. Executive, legislative and judicial powers, cabinet was responsible to him. All key appointments were to be made by the president. He could issue the ordinance. He could also announce state of emergency in the country. National Assembly considered of one house on the basis of principle of party between two wings of the country. There were, now I'm talking about that several years back when there were only 159 seats. Now it is around 370. National Assembly had all the powers of law making, but law was finally ratified by the president. President could sign, reject, or return the bill. Next, financial powers of National Assembly were limited. Only new expenses could be noted. National Assembly could not reject fund list and revenue expenditure. There were two provinces of the Federation. Governor was in two provinces. There were two governors. The one governor sits in West Pakistan. The other one will be in East Pakistan. The power, so different powers were given. So now I will give you some detail regarding the constitutions. आगे आ जाते हैं जनाब. Principle of policy. National Assembly solidarity could be observed. Number two, interested of knowledge and people would be looked after. Three, opportunities for the participation in the national life. Next, education and well-being of the people. Last, Islam would be implemented in the day-to-day life. आगे आ जाते हैं जी. Constitution of 1973, 1973 का इनका. It was number one, parliamentary system. Two, president. Three, parliament with the 2 hours. Three, federation system. 5, provincial structure. Sixth, principle of policy. Next, functional rights. Next, Islamic province. Next, national language. Then judiciary rigid. अब आ जाते हैं ये the main features which I have mentioned to you. It was regarding the Constitution of 1973. Now I'm coming towards the amendments. Number one, a bill of annexure, the Constitution shall create the National Assembly, and when the bill was passed by the votes of not less than in two-third majority, it was needed for that, just to pass that one. Next come, if a bill is passed by the Senate with the amendment, it shall be reconsidered by the National Assembly. Number next, 3. If the bill is passed by the Senate by the majority of the total membership of the state, it shall be presented for the President for the assent. Next. If the bill is not passed by the Senate, it could send it back. Next, the President shall assent the bill with, it means if it is passed, it's fine by the Senate. If not, then President has the power to accept or reject it. ये which I've given you, अब इसका, now we are running toward the conclusion. The constitutional history of the Pakistan, a reflection of the peculiarities and the contradiction of its social, economic and political development since independence for more than a quarter of the century. The struggle over particular formation in various drafts of the Constitution which went on the legislative body was often an expression of the clash between the vital interest of the social groups in Pakistan. It was not surprising, therefore, that the struggle over many constitutional issues, the state language from the election, division of powers between the federation and province, etc., went on for years, leading the bloody clashes in which thousands of people were victims, and after that, political crisis of 1970, the Constitution of 1973 was expression of the balance of class force established after the political crisis of 1971. This was the crisis between Bengalis and the person who was living in Pakistan. That was in 1971. And the collapse of the military dictatorship. The present constitution of Pakistan is characterized by such fundamental principle as a parliamentary republican system, federal state structure, and proclamation of democracy, freedom, equality, tolerance, and other things, democratic freedom, and attainment of social justice as the supreme aim of the state. So I have given you a glimpse of these three constitutions. Don't forget it that in the Constitution of 1962, फैमिली कोर्ट्स वर इंट्रोड्यूस्ड. ये दिस इज अनदर थिंग जिसको आप कहते हो फैमिली लॉ, यानी औरतों के हकूक. फर्स्ट टाइम दे वर इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन 1962 कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रिगार्डिंग दी फैमिली अफेयर्स ऑफ वुमन. वुमन वर गिवन फ्रीडम, पहले इतनी नहीं थी, तो ये जस्ट ऐड कर लें. सो आई हैव गिवन यू द कंक्लूजन रिगार्डिंग इट. So keep it in mind, three constitution which I have given you the detail. Anything if you want to know, if you want to ask, you could ask time and again. Well, so thank you for the listening and coming. Thank you.